for tuning in and subscribing. I have a beautiful guest with me today, someone who I am glad to call my friend. Her name is Kelly DelBianco, and we have worked together in, oh my goodness, I've been cleaning your house for a number of years, 7 years. Kelly's holding up, we're on Zoom, Kelly's holding up her finger. She's like, girl, 7 years. The time.
Yeah, we first met in the mentoring class in Port Coquitlam.
That's right.
And that's about 7 years ago.
Wow, hey?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And when I first met you, you were starting your journey and you still had a muggle job. You've since retired and you are doing your passion full time now.
Yes, I am. The universe and spirit, I kept saying to them, I just would love to be a full-time psychic. I would just love to do this work full-time. And they just kept saying to me, well, go. And I kept freaking out about the money because I was a nurse and I was making great money. Yeah. And they were saying to me, well, just stop. And I couldn't. And I just kept asking and asking. And finally they said, enough is enough. And they made me sick.
Oh, that's right.
I had to leave my job.
I remember that. Because you were on like a sick leave and then you were retired.
Yeah, because they just said, if you're not going to do it, we're going to make it occur because you're manifesting it.
Yeah. So you were getting in, what I'm hearing is you were getting in the way of your own manifestation and not trusting your ability to create that abundant, rich, beautiful life that you so deserve.
100%. I had a scarcity of money pattern and belief, and that was holding me back. And when I finally just let go of all of that, wow, I started my psychic business, started working full time, and I've been going ever since. And it's wow. Yeah. So that was, I want to say 4.5 years ago. Yeah.
I have an interesting question because I've known you for 7 years and your energy feels younger now at a different stage. And I really do feel like since I've known you, you've moved from that motherhood, womanhood stage into that wise crone, beautiful stage.
Yes.
But your energy feels more effervescent, more vibrant, and almost what our culture would call, quote unquote, a younger energy, even though you're much more grounded in wisdom. And I find that really interesting.
Yeah. And a lot of people do say that when I tell people how old I am, they get shaken a little bit because my energy does come forward as more youthful. In human words, I always say to people, I'm just immature for my age, but that's not really the case, right?
No,
I have learned over the past years to step inside and up. And I have come to an alignment with myself and a peace within myself. And I have released my abuse and trauma. And because all of that is gone, and I sit in a space where I can just take things in and release them really quickly. So if something happens, it's gone within an hour at the most. And I don't hang on to anything. My energy is unfettered.
I love that. And I really love the words, and I want you to dive deeper into this for me when you said in and up. Tell me about that.
Okay, so one of the things that I have learned is that it is all about, you know how we say body, mind, and soul?
Yes.
But what I have learned from a consciousness called the Jacob Collective that I've been channeling is that it is mind, heart, and soul. And the mind is a scribe, the heart is the regulator, and the soul is the conductor. And one cannot function without the other. And so once you start to scribe into your mind new layers of energy in terms of what you are producing outward and inward, and then you allow your heart to regulate not only your physical body, but your emotional aspects of the etheric heart. And then you allow the soul to conduct your thoughts, your feelings, your physical body, and allow it to come to a fruition of mastery within itself. This is the in and the up.
In and up.
Yeah. Because I don't look to the outside anymore. So if something is happening in my life, so let's say somebody.
Let's give a practical example, because there's a lot of
Mumbo jumbo talk, right? Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I was going to say spiritual speak, or it's kind of abstract idea, very beautiful abstract idea. So let's put that into the concrete. Let's put it into the day to day. You are in Costco and life is sucking.
Right. I'm in Costco and life is sucking. And somebody says, gets irritated at me and says, you're in my way. Move. Why are you over? Somebody starts spouting at you. I will not recoil. I will not take it in and then start, well, what are you talking about? I was here first. I was this, or I will not just walk away and then hold it and talk about it for 15 minutes with someone, because that means going outside. That means taking in what they're saying to me and accepting and owning those words and being reactive emotionally, mentally, and maybe physically to those words. Okay. So mentally reacting to that would be like allowing myself to feel less than, maybe, right?
Okay, yeah, because they're spouting at you.
They're spouting at me, and I'm taking that on, and
and like me, you have said already that you come from a place of you have resolved trauma. So there are tapes in there. There are beliefs that were imposed on you when you were young that you could easily trigger into. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. So somebody who has lack of value or self-worth or less than, when someone's spouting, they could just collapse, right?
Right.
And that's coming from the outside to you. So you're allowing the outside, right? When you're emotionally, then you get like upset. You may get angry. You may get shocked or upset or not know how to respond. And physically, you might actually feel sick. You might start to shake, can go into that. But when I say I go inward and upward, what it means is I no longer take the outside. I will look at the person and I will move away and I will say, oh, I'm sorry I intruded. Now, people will say to me, but that you're just being a wussy. You're not standing up for yourself. You're not having power. No, it takes more power to be in control of yourself than it does to be reactive. I don't need to react because they don't affect me.
There's a difference between cowering from someone and disengaging from anger.
Yes.
Or an outside situation.
And I choose to recognize by saying, I'm sorry, I'll come. I'm sorry, I was in your way. I choose to recognize their emotions by saying, I'm apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I was in your way. I'm not really sorry, but I am validating how they feel, because that is how they feel in the moment, because they are on the outside of themselves and not able to be on the inside in a compassionate point of view. So I will validate. If somebody says to me, you're stupid, I would say to them, I understand that's how you feel.
That is so powerful. And you know what it keeps bringing to mind is a very beautiful friend of mine goes by. I'm not going to say the Hawaiian word properly because I can't do it properly, but it's all maybe.
Kanana couple up, right? I know what you're talking about.
It's, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Yeah, the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer.
Yeah. Yes. And my friend lives by this. And there's times that I have been just reactive during my divorce, during dealing with the legal system, that I would just be irate and activated because I was feeling my boundaries being crossed and I was having a normal response to that. And that got me out of that.
Yes, 100%. So when I say I go inside and I go up, I don't take the outside and react to the outside. So I'm inside myself and I go up to the higher perspective and the higher point of view, which is, I understand you feel this way, but I'm not taking your words on. I'm not allowing them to affect my energy. And I'm understanding in the upper point of view that you are not worked through the things in your life that are causing you pain and discomfort. And this is why
you're validating your own experiences, aren't you? You're validating your worth, because I can feel that when you point to yourself and you say, I'm going in, I can feel that self-love and self-compassion where you're going, I know I am a valuable human being. I don't have to accept an outside judgment. or situation, because I know my truth is I am a beautiful, worthy, amazing Kelly.
Yeah. And sometimes people may say things to me, and I may say to myself quickly, can I own anything of what they're saying? And I can do a stock check. And if I can own something of what I'm saying, I will actually say to them, I want to apologize for you because I can own some of what you were saying to me. And so I step into the trueness of me, and I take my responsibility for my reactions and my behavior. But also, I want people to understand that you have to be a great master to have no layers of anything in your life. And even though we've resolved traumas and abuses and situations and experiences, the layers will always crop up in different ways and in different things that happen with you. It's what you do with them in that time and how quickly and effectively you can move through them, which allows your energy to be expansive or shriveled.
I love talking to you. I always feel so blessed that I get to work with you. So now you did touch on, and I want to circle back because you were talking about the wisdom and how it was channeled through the Jacob Collective. And when we first came on before we pressed record, you told me that you were going to talk about the Jacob Collective on my podcast. So Kelly, like me, you do channel spirit.
Yes.
You will speak in light language, which is so beautiful to listen to. It's so beautiful to listen to. And I know a little bit, so I'm going to let you decide how much you tell about your projects with this channeled entity. But you've been working with an energy and getting some very beautiful truths. Would you like to tell everyone in the Earbud Coven about the Jacob Collective?
Yes. So the Jacob Collective is a collective group of energies, I would say universal, higher than the galactic. I was doing some private sessions with someone who I was doing healing work with, and I started channeling all these things for them because they were a very spiritual person with a lot of gifts that they were working in spirituality. And so I started channeling all these really in-depth messages for them. And I couldn't quite figure out, where is this coming from all of a sudden? And so one night I sat down and I was working on her stuff because I was seeing her the next day. And I was like, and I was like, okay, who am I channeling here? Like, who is this? Because my guides come through all the time. And all of a sudden I said, who are you? I said, are you Jacob, the new guide that I had in meditation? And they said, collective. And I said, collective. And they said, yes. I said, what are you? They said, we are the Creator Collective. And I said, well, what is the Creator Collective? And they said to me, there are those that believe in God. There are those that believe in Allah. The galactics would believe in another. Each species would believe in a higher being. And we are the consciousness of all of those created together. And so they started channeling with me, and I started just calling them the Jacob Collective. And they said they were fine with that because it just was easier for me. And because the Jacob guide that came forward was a precursor for them. It was a representation for them. And they have come through, and at first I would let them speak through me. And so they would actually have a voice through me. I would change just like if I was channeling light language. And then they said to me, that is not required anymore. Just be who you are, and we will download the knowledge through you, right? And so they speak about a lot of things, but they speak about energy, right? I just ran a class with them, an 8-week class with them, and they learned to do telepathy. They learned to expand and seal their energy for protection versus using sage crystals and other things. They learned some higher concepts of why we are here and what we are doing. And one of the things that they said to us, and I'm going to read it quickly, is they said, you are energy with a mind. Energy does not have emotions. And when you extinguish your emotions, then the energy remains unfettered, and then you can flare.
That is interesting.
These flares contribute to your energy emittance. Remember, energy is constant, so it neither proliferates or decreases. The flare allows your energy to illuminate at a higher degree. This illumination then, for words of understanding, deletes the dark by illuminating higher. The higher the illumination, the greater the collective. So what they're saying is each time that you step and live in your emotional self versus the fullness of self, you decrease your energy flare.
Okay,
And
I'm
you
going to
do,
paraphrase, see if I can understand. Yeah. So again, we're working with, you got to remind me. So it's mind, heart, and soul.
Yeah.
So when we are only, what I'm hearing is the idea that when we were only in our emotion and we're denying these, like our physical body, our mind, and our entire being, we are decreasing and diminishing how light and bright and our own beauty, so to speak.
Yes, 100%.
And so it sounds like a call to be fully embodied in all there is to be human.
Yes. So the interesting thing they said that before that, we perceive lessons as something that happened. We work through our emotions around it. And we perceive that we're here to earth to live through the lessons we're meant to heal. And they said lessons are figments of human expression. So they said each energy upon earth is there for the collective whole, not the individual self. And that is where the fallacy lies. And there is a collective purpose, and that is the ascension of earth, so as to integrate infinite consciousness. You perceive this ascension in lessons, whereas we designate them as energy bursts or flares to the consciousness.
Wow.
So yeah, so
okay, so I'm going to stop for 1 minute. Kelly, you have to send this to me so I can put it in the show notes. So everyone listening can, if that's okay, to read it again and digest this channeling from the Jacob Collective, because this is really beautiful, deep truths and things I think people can meditate on and think about.
Yeah, we think that we're here as individuals to do individual lessons. We're here for the upgrade or ascension of the collective whole of earth.
That fits so much with I've been doing a lot of thought and journaling and just personal work on the idea of a soul family. Mm-hmm. And the people that you are, because we do reincarnate a lot with the same people, the same souls. We come back together, we work together. So that really fits for me with that idea of, we're not just here for like the evolution of Jodi Ann's soul so that I can become a guru guide on the other side. We are here for the freedom and the energetic ascension of all of us.
Yes. And you will remain with the soul, with the same soul family, and reincarnating with that soul family until everyone has done their part to the collective consciousness.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Jacob Collective, I mean, that's just a small thing. Like they talked about karma and how when we say, oh, well, that's okay, what goes around comes around, we have just done a revenge mode, and therefore we have decreased our energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's so many things that they talk about that are just, we are energy, but we perceive ourselves as physical because we have a 2D mind and 3D eyes. But if we could but see ourselves as true energetic people, we have so much power that is untapped in the way that we use our energy. And this is part of our issue, is we waste our energy on things that don't matter in the big picture.
Yeah, we are. We're very short-sighted, like humans, and our time on Earth. Like, I mean, sure, we live about 90 years, but that's really small compared to like the life cycle of how we get a quartz crystal or of a tree. Like, we're quite tiny in the scope of nature.
Yes, and we're quite tiny in the scope of the universe. When I've been asked by people about the galactics, like, the Syrians and all this sort of thing.
Because you channel a lot of those energies.
Yes, they call them the outposts. And they say that they are not like them because they do not take form or function. The collective does not take form or function.
So the galactic energies that you channel are saying that the Jacob Collective energy is quite different than their energy.
No, the Jacob Collective is saying that. The Jacob Collective calls them outposts.
Okay.
And they say that they're very different from anyone that we know within our universe, because the Jacob Collective does not take form or function like we would perceive.
Wow.
Yeah. They're strictly energy. Like, there's a lot of things that they talk about that, like past lives. We do not have past lives. We have sequential lives that are happening at the same moment.
Yes,
So if you
I've heard that truth. But it's our monkey mind that we're in. We're in such this linear time and space that we think of our past lives as happening like 200 years ago, where the reality is everything is happening all at the same time.
Right. And we're living interdimensional lives in different dimensions in different spaces and what we would consider times, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all at the same time. So we are only an aspect of ourselves here.
I'm going to interrupt, but I know that the concept of interdimensional living, that our energy is across different dimensions happening simultaneously, kind of that quantum idea. That is why when we do healing here, it can resonate throughout, because the healing is happening here and it's happening in our past life and it's happening with our grandparent and it's multi. That's why the work is big when we do it.
Yeah. And they say that we place names on everything when in truth, energy is neither added or deleted. It is just manipulated. Mm-hmm. Right. And so when you talk about ancestral, they're not really ancestral. They're still here at the same time, same place, same happening, just in a different dimension. So they say that the words that we have always carry a past tense and a tense because we are time restricted, right? And that if we really want to learn to think about energy in how it is, we need to let go of the then, the there, and the now.
We're going to be blowing so many people's minds. I think this is a podcast episode that people will come back to and re-listen. There's so much to digest here. I love this.
It's just the tip of the iceberg with what I've got from them. I am going to be writing a book with their stuff.
I'm glad you said that out loud because you've told me that.
Yes, 100%.
How is it going?
Well, right now I'm participating in the second volume of a book called Empowerment for Women, Pain to Purpose. So I'm just contributing to that right now. It's a bunch of women authors, and we contribute a chapter about how we transformed our pain into purpose in our life. So that will be coming out in Kindle March 31st, I believe, and paperback later in the year. So I'm starting with that. After I've gotten that all taken care of, then I will continue on. Right now, I have books and pages full of channelings from the Jacob Collective that are there ready to be put into the book. So the book will be their channelings, and then I will make a human explanation so that people can understand what they're saying, because sometimes they're very technical, scientific, and complicated in the way that they speak. So it's hard to understand. But yeah, they are blowing my mind, and they're twisting everything upside down. When I said to them, well, what about saging? They said, that's a nice concept, isn't it? They said, but if it is your belief and your energy is saying, this is what I believe to protect me, then that is your belief, but it's not a necessary belief. Because if you're living in your true energy, there's no affliction or affection from anything. You cannot be afflicted by something, and you cannot be affected by something when you're in your true energy.
Do you think the idea of being in our true energy is attainable? Or do you think it's something that we kind of like work up to or flip in and out of? Like looking at the people you know, because you know a lot of spiritual people, and we're all out here trying.
Yes, I think that there's different levels of consciousness. And I feel that everybody has their gifts that they are to bring into the consciousness, the collective, the whole consciousness of the world. And so some people may be attaining, let's just say, a higher level of consciousness with quotation marks, like, right. You know, how you would get an ascendant master, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would get an ascendant master. And some people aren't. And that doesn't mean that they're wrong. It means that they're at a level where they need to help people there, right?
And their contribution is perfectly what it's supposed to be.
Exactly, 100%. That doesn't mean, though, that they can't strive for some inner alignment. Because I see people getting stuck and forgetting to work forward and be in momentum. And if there's one thing energy needs, it is motion. You know, and so if you're stuck and you're not aligning yourself or learning how to find a higher consciousness for yourself, then where are you? What are you doing?
I like the words you used, alignment with self.
Alignment with self is basically healing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's learning how not to be reactive, learning how not to be judgmental, of learning how to not take things in, like we were talking about the outside inside. It's aligning into your true power, your voice, and your ability to feel love and comfortableness for yourself. And that's really what alignment is. And the more you align, the higher you get in the consciousness, because you're releasing garbage. Let's call it that. You're releasing this human garbage. And that allows the spirit guides, the universe, the energies to communicate better with you. It's when you get complacent in your life and you think, this is where I am and this is what I'm doing, and you don't work on yourself, that you are stagnating your energy.
I like that.
Yeah. And I see a lot of people that do that. They get to a certain point and they're helping people and they're utilizing their gifts. And maybe that's where they're supposed to be working, but they're still not working on themselves. They're stagnant.
Yeah.
And that is where you are then not healing, because healing is a continuous evolution. Okay. How many times have people, I want people here to answer this. How many times have you gone to a healer and the healer said, I'm going to take you on a journey, and now I want you to see your abuser there, and I want you to say, I forgive you, and I want you to take all your stuff and dump it at their feet and just let it all go. And you're like, yeah, and you feel it in the minute. And then you go back along your life and you're still doing all the same shit. You're still being reactive. You're still angry. You still feel like something's missing. You're still not living in your self-worth, because you just said the words and went through the motions. You didn't really, really go inside yourself and deal with understanding the problems of where this stuff started, how it's playing out in your life, and changing that story that you're stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because the healing doesn't actually have anything to do with the abuser at all.
100%.
The healing has to do with my relationship with myself. And 100%. I say it that way because I am like, I'm doing my healing work. Like, we've talked, like,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I just want to say to everybody listening is that, I don't have it all figured out. I still have healing to do. I will have layers that come up in my life, but I understand what to do with them now. And that's the difference, is I have tools.
Yeah.
And I understand myself now. I understand my reactions, and Jody's different than I'm different, but similar things in terms of appeasing, self-worth, self-denial, all these things, right?
Similar illness,
yes.
Different cure.
Yes.
And I think, though, love, that's why when you speak from the heart and you give guidance and you channel that wisdom for us, it hits us right in the heart and all the feels, because it comes from a place of authenticity and deep compassion and loving understanding, because it's apparent that you're on the ground doing the work too. So what I'm going to get you to say, because you touched on it, what does it look like to get a series of sessions with you?
So I have a series of sessions called Finding Your Forward, and it is 8 sessions once a week. It's an hour and 15 minutes with me. And Finding Your Forward deals with just working on what is holding you right now, right in this minute. And if I have to go back and find the source from that, we will go back and find the source from that. But what is stopping you just right now from moving forward? That's probably my least expensive program. My big program is called Chaos to Clarity, and I call that my dumpster dive program. And that is 8 weeks and 2 follow-up sessions, once 2 months. So it's 10 altogether. And you get me for an hour and a half every week. And I'm on your beck and call for things in between.
You are really like on speed dial for people.
Yes, in that program.
Love. So if people work with you and they have that fight with that person who they love, that they struggle with, they can call you.
Yes, 100%.
That is an amazing service.
Yes.
That's an amazing service.
Yeah. So they can call me and I may just text them back, or I may do a face-to-face. It's whatever I am told they require in the moment, right? It's
Wow.
whatever I'm told they require. And this one, we are going to dive into all your childhood stuff, all your teenage stuff, your relationships. We're going to go through the whole thing. So it is a more expensive program. But like I said, it's 10 sessions. So it's 8 weeks in a row, 1.5 hours with me once a week. And then afterwards, you have 2 sessions, which are once a month, like 1 month and then another month to follow up with you, right? That's what I do. And just to let people know, I do see your readings, which can give little bits of information. And I am a master medical intuitive as well, and a master of Akashic
and you've done
records.
your Akashic record stuff.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you've got your stuff.
So I utilize all that because really I am a seer. And that is my I'm a psychic seer, and a seer is somebody who sees your past, present, and future. But this is like when people can't find out what's wrong with someone or why they're not healing, they send them to me, and I can find out usually within 10 minutes what is the issue from the past. Yeah. Because I can see, the spirit shows me 100%. So yeah, that's kind of my gift. So
I love it.
That's me.
That's you. I love that you're in my life. I love that you came on the podcast. We're going to have you back again. I know, because and the time just flew. So
it did. And then we'll come back because my friend and I have created a deck of cards, and we will talk about that sometime.
Yes. We need to get you and Sheila on together.
Yeah. Have you used them?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're good.
Pause you. My dog is the loudest drinker in the world. She's like a camel. Can you hear her?
Yes. That's funny. I just hope my dog doesn't bark. When she barks, she really gets going.
Oh, Kelly, we're gonna have you back. I mean, we're having you back with Sheila, but we have to have you back.